Hi there, welcome and good morning from Upskill Academy and from Enshrine Learning. We've come together to bring you some very informative information. And before we start, I'd just like to mention that we are experiencing some internet problems due to inclement weather. So if you do experience any problems with your audio or video, please do reconnect. I'll be doing the same from my side. If the problems persist, we'll facilitate in sending a recording to yourselves. But yes, like I said, very welcome on this extremely frosty morning here in Cape Town. I hope it's a lot warmer wherever you may be. Firstly, there is some points that I'd like to mention, things of utmost importance when it comes to COVID and COVID safety. So the first thing I'd like to mention is most people think that COVID is not such a big pandemic. What you have Sorry, one second. What we have learned from the pandemic is just from the stats published yesterday, the World Health Organization says the virus is worsening globally. The World Health Organization reported that 136,000 new coronavirus cases over the last 24 hours. That's the highest number of daily cases globally. On the same day, the WHO actually warned that the coronavirus pandemic is actually still worsening globally with only close to 140,000 cases reported. With over 7 million coronavirus infections recorded worldwide and with almost 405,000 deaths. Countries are not doing enough with regard to testing, tracing, isolation, as well as implementing proper safety. On top of that, the delayed effects of lifting lockdowns in parts of the country that are experiencing rising cases, as well as a lapse in compliance with social distancing guidelines because of economic hardship and in some cases, the belief that the threat is completely overstated. This in turn has actually led that, let's just have a look here. I'll show you guys. Just to have a look from the stats that I've mentioned earlier. These are the stats that I've mentioned where close to 140,000 people are being infected on a daily basis. That's just in the last 24 hours. 7 million cases, nearly 500,000 deaths. And with South Africa recently having nearly 8 million people return to work on level 3, the risk of infection actually could mean your business will close. Now, these aren't idle threats. These are fully applicable and it has happened, but I'll touch on that a bit later. So just to go on, what Upskill Academy and Enshrine Academy has brought you is we've created a 2-hour online tutorial video class that properly trains your employees on how to protect your business and its staff plus clients from receiving or transmitting COVID-19 via the certified COVID preparedness training and now also including a toolkit. This we've added additionally to our courses, and that is of massive, massive value to your business, but I'll tell you how that will benefit you shortly. Firstly, what we have mentioned is last week we had nearly 8 million people returning to work, and the risk of infection could mean your business will actually close. Now, you need to ask yourself, have you taken the necessary steps in educating your employees on the various safety measures and protocols? With level 3 regulations, also calls for businesses to appoint a COVID-19 health and safety officer whose job will be to oversee the implementation of the workplace safety regulations as outlined in each individual business and the COVID-19 work plan. Now, it is essential that we do implement this in order to flatten the curve. The reason why we need to flatten the curve is to slow community transmission, to provide time to expand healthcare capacity, to provide time to better prepare and equip hospitals and healthcare workers, and also time to scale up testing and prevention programs. So The first thing that we need to do is in understanding the importance of reducing company liability and risk with verified proof of training. Now, this is essential where we can assist you in doing this. If we can just move to the slide, 1 second. What we have here is a summary of what it means for businesses going down to the level or level 3. For instance, when can I leave my home? Well, you must have remained at home at all times except traveling to and from work, to attend a school or learning institution, purchase goods or obtain services, exercise between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., but not in groups, and move children between homes where permitted, and also attend place of worship. You must wear a cloth face mask wherever you are in public. Now, this is of utmost importance, and most countries haven't adopted these measures. And unfortunately, to the detriment, it has caused massive, massive problems for them. When it comes to the workplace, we need to keep our workers safe, and the employers must minimize the number of employees at the workplace at any given time through rotation, staggered working hours, shift systems, or remote working arrangement or similar methods, just to limit the congestion on public transport and at the workplace. So they have to make arrangement for social distancing at work, provide sanitizer or facilities for hand washing, sanitize surfaces regularly, and also screen employees for symptoms daily and assist those at risk to seek treatment. So also when it comes to what goods can I purchase, all retail outlets will be open with stringent health protocols in place. Alcohol will be sold under strict conditions from Monday to Thursdays between 9 and 5. And I'm sure everybody is keeping a very close eye on the tobacco ban as well, for those of you that may smoke. In the economic sectors, all economic sectors are permitted to operate, except for those in high-risk activities remain restricted. The following restrictions will actually remain in place. Consumption of food and alcohol in restaurants, bars, shebeens, and taverns, personal care services where social distancing is not possible, hotels accommodation, domestic air travel, except for essential work travel, conferences, events and gatherings, cinemas and entertainment venues, gyms and fitness centers, and then of course, beaches, public parks and sports grounds. Now, we need to protect ourselves and others. And most people who are infected with COVID-19 have no symptoms. Now, this is crucially important. You may be spreading the virus without even knowing it. So wear a mask, wash your hands regularly, and keep your distance from others. One second. So just to notice, let me just pause that for a second. We'll get back to that in a second. What we need to do is, because we need to understand the importance of reducing the company liability and risk by providing verified proof of training, as we do with our 2-hour courses that offer simple, easy to understand, user-friendly interface with additional toolkit, which I will mention a bit later what it actually includes. Now, the reason why this is so important, if we just take the stats, for instance, in March or just after March, more than 300 to 400 prohibition notices have been served. A prohibition is where there is total neglect, and it's clear to see that workers are in danger because employees have not put any of the measures we have recommended in place. Where there is a complete disregard for regulations, companies are ordered to close, and if there are some lapses, they are given a notice to fix those within a specific period. After an inspector will return, and he will actually determine whether the workplace is safe or not. If it is not, it will close, if it hasn't closed already. So there is an urgent and dramatic need for employees to educate and implement the necessary procedures to keep operating. Just to give you an example, out of a possible 4,000 inspections that were done, only 55% employers and companies were compliant. That means the other half were not, and were subject to either closing or having further inspections done. And can you really afford for your business not to operate? So the next thing we have to do is social behavior is very, very important. Even if testing was scaled up and we're carrying out tests itself, it does very to little good with the next steps, to finding out who was exposed and asking them to isolate. If these procedures aren't put into place, you're putting your business. Now, the situation was further complicated with level 3 lockdown, where many manual workers were returning to work in smaller and less resourced employers. So it is important that actually redouble their efforts to safeguard the workplace, especially against the spread of the virus. Now, yes, this does sound like a lot of doom and gloom, and in most cases, yes, it is. For instance, in America, it's where they haven't put those measures into place. They are now the worst affected country in the world, and this is a world leader, the foremost country in the world. So we actually do provide the course globally, as in America, to the UK, to all English-speaking nations, as well as South Africa. So why this is important, especially in South Africa currently? Now, recently, there's quite a few new draft regulations that have come into place for companies and employees returning to work. And what Mr. 𝐚𝐚𝐥𝐥 said so far, what we know as far, is workers may actually refuse to work if they have a reasonable belief that the necessary precautions have not been put into place to prevent the transmission of COVID-19. So the onus is thus on the employers to resolve such disputes, with a warning that victimization of those employees will see cases referred to the CCMA. Now, in these cases, it's of utmost importance to firstly ensure that your workplace has the necessary measures, which we will show you how to do. And lastly, ensuring that there's reducing your liability to ensure that there's a proof of training, as we actually issue a certificate once the training is completed, which if there is a case in the CCMA, at least there is some form of liability that you can reduce your company with to prove that you have actually done your due diligence and actually educated your employees to the best of your abilities to keep them safe. Now, the next point that they made is employees who have had close contact involving high risk of transmission must be given 14 days paid sick leave. And this will apply to all workers. Thus, training your employees could cost less than paying for one employee's 14 days sick leave. So it's in utmost importance by screening your employees, having the necessary procedures in place, because if your workplace was contaminated and you did not take the necessary steps, you could be looking at paying quite a lot of sick days for a lot of employees, as well as the added liabilities thereof. Now, the cost, and also lastly, the cost of COVID-19 precautions, such as personal protective equipment, those cannot be recovered from your employees. It is on the onus of the employee to provide these measures. If we just have a look here again, 1 second. Here is a simple example of things that we need to know of COVID is an infectious disease that is spread directly or indirectly from one person to another. Thus, the importance of educating your staff and ensuring that they are fully compliant. Now, the infection can be spread from person to person, from a healthy person through eye, nose, mouth, through droplets produced on coughing or sneezing, close contact with infected people, or contact with contaminated surfaces, objects, or personal items. Now, symptoms may include fever, cough, trouble or difficulty breathing, and also a sore throat. Now, the prevention of this, there is easy, simple to follow rules in preventing, but just to name a few, is washing your hands for 20 minutes with, and use alcohol-based hand sanitizer when you can't wash your hands. Keep safe social distancing areas and don't limit gatherings to less than 10 people. Avoid people that aren't feeling one. Avoid social gatherings. There's quite a few important points that we need to remember. And for instance, as this slide will show, there is many of these slides which I've actually included in the toolkit, which are printable, which you can then display in your workplace. Let's have a look at the next one. So yes, just as I've mentioned, here's some of the printable posters that you guys can actually use in your workplace, have them printed, put them up, and this is easy enough for your employees to follow. But this is not enough just having these posters put up. You actually do need proper training. That's, as I mentioned, how to flatten the curve, and we'll get to that in a bit. What I'd like to do is just to tell you about the course and what we've done. Now, we have compiled it to our user-friendly course that has the guidelines set out by the WHO, the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, Occupational Health and Safety Association, and the Environmental Protection Agency. Now, this is for all employees, all staff, and students. What we've also done, additionally to that, we've actually added the Employer Toolkit. So you've got the COVID Employer Toolkit, which includes all the government gazette, all the gazetted information, which has been released by the government, which is easily downloadable as a PDF. You can pick and choose the ones that you need or is relevant to your specific business. Also, we have posters, infographics, and also fact sheets, which you guys can download and use in the office. And most importantly, we've also included the risk assessment tool. Now, the courses will educate your employees on the proper safety guidelines to facilitate your company to be safe and compliant, minimizing your risk of infection and liability of closing up shop, because that's the last thing that we would want to do. I'm going to play you a short video of, actually, I'm just going to share, firstly, I'm going to share the two files that we have. Firstly, we've got the CCPT brochure, and I've also got the CIRS-DAT course. Now, these are the two courses that we have available. You can download that at any time, and you can preview and view the brochure as needed. What I'm going to do in the meantime is also going to run a poll when you guys are ready to just answer those. And what I'll first do, I'm going to first start by playing you guys the CCPTE training video. It's just a short teaser video to give you a brief overview of what the course actually entails. So here we go. Have a look.
It is critically important to get your staff trained and certified in preventing COVID-19 infection and contamination. The novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, has touched nearly every corner of the globe, and we have seen its devastating health and financial effects. Since the World Health Organization declared the virus a pandemic, we have seen multiple countries worldwide implement national lockdowns and social distancing measures to limit and manage the spread. Homes, public areas, offices, malls, and just about every space humans use must all be disinfected prior to opening to the public and regularly thereafter to reduce the risk of further contamination. Proper training of all staff has never been more important than now. This course is ideal for everybody in your organization. The CCPTE course is based on the guidelines provided by the World Health Organization, the CDC, OSHA, the EPA, and the IICRC. The 4 modules cover the following and take about 2 hours to complete. Module 1, protecting yourself and others. Module 2, cleaning the workspace. Module 3, social distancing. And Module 4, key cleaning processes to prevent and reduce risks. Upon successful completion, each attendee will receive a certificate of completion and competency. Management will have access and proof of all staff that completed the course for record keeping and effective risk management. For more information, go to upskillacademy.co.
Well, that was a short course, and that's the most important one. That is the COVID preparedness training, the certified COVID preparedness training for employees. Now, this is essential for all your employees, for all your students, for all your staff. This is for absolutely everybody to ensure that they meet all the necessary protocols, that they are safe, that they do not infect others, and that they ensure that the workplace is a safe environment. And also for yourself, this educates your employees on proper safety guidelines, and it facilitates your company to be safe, compliant, and minimizes your risk of infection and liability. And as I said, it ensures that you won't close up shop. That also shows that you've done everything from your side. And as it's mentioned, it does provide a certificate, so you do have a proof of training. If you ever do line up in the CCMA, you do have proof that you have provided your employees with the necessary training, as long as you have done the necessary measures in the workplace where you have provided the necessary sanitations and all the other protocols. The next video I'd like to show you guys is for our 𝐸𝑠-DAT course. Now, the 𝐸𝑠-DAT course is for our Certified Specialist Disinfectant Applicator. Now, this is essential for your compliance person and your safety officer, as well as any of your cleaning staff if you're looking to do your cleaning in-house. This actually consists of an extra module to the previous course, where it just goes more in depth about the safety plan, your compliance officer, the implementation of your safety plan for your compliance officer, and also more about the specific requirements and needs that you would have to do and implement in order to safely cleanse and sanitize your working environment. I'll play you a short video which you guys could view now.
Currently, it's become critically important to get your staff trained and certified as specialist disinfectant applicators. The novel corona, or COVID-19, has touched nearly every corner of the globe, and we have seen its devastating health and financial effects. Since the World Health Organization declared the virus a pandemic, we have seen multiple countries worldwide implement national lockdowns and social distancing measures to limit and manage the spread. Homes, public areas, offices, malls, and just about every space humans use must all be disinfected prior to opening to the public and regularly thereafter to reduce the risk of further contamination. Proper training of cleaning staff has never been more important than now. Certain businesses may hire professional services and others will handle cleaning and disinfection themselves. Either way, this training is for everybody. The 𝐸𝑠-DAT course, Certified Specialist Disinfection Applicator Training, is based on the guidelines provided by the World Health Organization, the CDC, OSHA, the EPA, and the IICRC. The 4 modules cover the following and take about 2 hours to complete. Module 1, Protecting yourself and others. Module 2, Cleaning the workspace. Module 3, Recommended products, spraying equipment and spraying methods. And Module 4, Key cleaning processes to prevent and reduce risks. Upon successful completion, the attendee will receive a certificate of completion and competency to be printed and displayed for employees and clients to view. For more information, go to upskillacademy.co. Email us.
Well, I've just had some requests. Hopefully that was very informative for you guys. I've just had some requests to share the files again. I'll actually do that again. So I've shared the 𝐸𝑠-DAT as well as the CCPT, including the toolkit. Just to go over again what the toolkit includes, well, actually, the course is a 2-hour course included with a toolkit, which is all the government gazette information, the necessary posters, infographics, and fact sheets. And these are updated as they are updated from the various organizations. We do add them from time to time as we know more about the virus. And most importantly, it also includes the risk assessment tool. Now, what we have done for you guys is we've also have a link with the special offer where you guys can then go to the website, you can go to the courses, you can purchase the courses there. There is various discounts available for you guys regarding on the volume that you guys actually do purchase. It offers exceptional value. Everybody that we have used so far has had just good things to say, and they found exceptional value from these courses. Now, what I'd like to do is, obviously, I'd like to do a bit of a Q&A section. I know you guys must have a few questions. Let's have a look if there is any questions that I can assist you guys with. So if there's questions, please go ahead and we'll spend the next few minutes just answering those, and I'll do those to the best of my ability. Let's have a look. Mr. Atkinson said, so how does one acquire a certificate from the course? Once you have actually done the course is a 2-hour video where you can watch the video and then take in all the necessary information. Once you've got the information, you do a quick Q&A section. Now, this is e-learning online, and you can do the 4 modules in your own time. So this means once you've done the modules and completed all of them, viewed at least 90% of the video, and obtained at least 75% in your Q&A section, you are then immediately issued with a PDF certificate. Proper training, Mr. Kumar said, proper training is mandatory, and I would say yes. Proper training is absolutely more than mandatory, it's essential. Having the correct training and having it implemented correctly will save you thousands and thousands, and in some cases even millions of rands from preventing you closing up shop. So for a fraction of the price, providing this for your employees will actually enable them to have the best possible chance of not spreading the virus, not contracting it, and also keeping safe and keeping your business running. Mr. Thakkar says, what should be precaution for the person who is working on PC and the PC is used by multiple people in the office? Firstly, I would not recommend having one PC and everybody using in the office, but in cases like those, this way the course is actually very important. It shows you how to clean your workstation and ensuring that it is sanitized at all times. After every use, it needs to be sanitized, it needs to be cleaned, and it needs to be ensured that it's done correctly. Otherwise, the virus will spread exponentially. Just as viruses bacteria multiply exponentially on cell phones, so they do as well on keyboards. Nirkash asks, can we have a replay of this video? Yes, we actually will have a replay of this video. It will be available after we have done this webinar. We'll actually send you the link and you guys can view it in your own time. Let's have a look quickly. I have some quick Q&As that some of my other clients have asked. If you give me 1 second. My apologies. I'm just getting to the frequently asked questions section that we quite regularly get these questions. Next question we have is Mr. Bashi that says, does this hour constitute training? It would constitute a form of training because I have given you quite some valuable information, and this information would actually enlighten you in doing the courses. The courses would then facilitate your training, and you would then receive a certificate once you've actually done that training. Let's see, Mr. Jethio. Social distancing is the most challenging change to adapt. How are you training factory floor shop staff to adhere to this? Well, what we can do is, or what we do is we have the guidelines, and the only thing that we can do is project the guidelines and educate what is necessary. There is obviously on factory workspace floors, it is very, very difficult because there is close contact. But when they are properly educated, minimizing the risk of the spread by sanitizing, using masks, cleaning their hands, using proper etiquette, trying to social distance as much as possible, and then also limiting the effects is the most effective way of containing the spread of the virus. And also making sure the building is well ventilated, as this would make a very big difference. 1 second. I've got another 2 questions that I have time for. If you guys want to send those through, by all means, I would be happy to answer. So I'm just scrolling through the questions now. 1 second. Let's have a look. Will this certificate be recognized? Well, currently the certificate that we issue is by the various authorities that I've mentioned. It's the protocols by the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, the Environmental Protection Agency, as well as the Occupational Health and Safety Agency. So these are the guidelines they've actually set out, and we've adhered as close, actually not as close, we've exactly adhered to those specific guidelines. What we've also done is we've also put out, or attached in the toolkit, we've attached all the various different gazetted information as well as guidelines from the various departments as set out by our local government, which is there for you to download, and also can just be additionally used in as addendum from what we've said. The other question that I have, does the course track who has completed the training? Yes, our platform actually does track when an employee is logged in, their exact progress, and we can actually report the progress for each employee upon request. Let's see, here's another question. How long is the training? The training is 2 hours. If it's done very slowly and diligently and properly, it takes about 2 hours. Depending on the individual doing the course, but it can be done in a shorter time. You could potentially finish it in 1.5 hours, but I would recommend taking your time to absorb all the information as best to your knowledge and best possible. I have answered do I have a certificate? And here's another question. Could you confirm these topics are covered? What is COVID, how it spreads, preventing coronavirus, symptoms and disease, when to seek medical attention, how infected people can spread COVID even if they are symptomatic, the importance of hand washing and guidelines on how and when to do it, avoiding touching your face, maintaining social distancing, coughing and sneezing etiquette, and 1 second, seeking medical attention if you're experiencing severe symptoms. Yes, all of those topics and more is covered in the training. So you will be fully. And I've got another question over here from Akinbambola. How much is the training? Well, you'll see in the training, our CIS-DAT course is normally listed at 995 Rand in South Africa, but we've actually have volume discounts available to you guys. And then our CCPT course is 595 Rand, but in the offer section, if you click there, you'll see it takes you to our landing page, to the CCPT course, and you can also view the other courses, which we will provide you guys, which we've loaded already on the page, with a discounted price based on the volume. Next question that we have over here is from Mr. 𝐵𝐻𝗏𝗏. Is the toolkit included as part of the certification training? Yes. Lastly, we have included the toolkit. It is part of the training. It is additionally there and at no extra charge. it's very important to have, especially the risk assessment tool and all the printable information that you have over there. It is part and parcel of the course, and we've actually added that recently. Well, thank you very much, guys. That's all I actually have time for. Thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys. I look forward to hearing from you, and if there's any questions, feel free to direct them. If I've missed anything, I will directly mail you guys with any follow-ups. Thank you again, and have a great day, and stay safe. From Upskill Academy and Enshrine Learning, be safe and goodbye.